$10 Tuesdays at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome in right here to Wager Talk TV. You're watching Puck Time. I'm Andrew, and of course I have Carmine Bianco with me, and it's just the two of us once again for today. Don Buster is in Vegas, I believe, and we'll have him in action with us here on Puck Time on Friday. Anybody wondering why I have a piece of tissue in my nose? I had the worst possible nosebleed ever out of nowhere before this show, but as they say, the show must go on, so I have to deal with that. But anyway, you guys aren't here to look at us anyway. You're here for some picks and some winners, hopefully. And I believe, Carmen, we gave out some winners yesterday on the board. I was happy to get a 2-0 client night after the Oilers scored with 4 seconds left in the game, and then they win that one in overtime 1 minute in. So, it's nice when those bounces start to go your way. I was in a slump for a while. Kind of bouncing out of that now. I'm on a pretty decent run, and that's kind of what happens. I mean, the Oilers dominated that game. They're up 2-1, below the lead, 3-2, and they somehow end up scoring with 4 seconds left to go and tie it up and win in overtime. So I was happy with last night's results, and I think you were as well, Karen. What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, no, overall for clients 2-1, 35-9 run now in the NHL, 80% over like the last 44 games, which is phenomenal. I'm loving it. Hopefully we can keep it going. I'm not going to hit 80% the rest of the year, I can tell you that much. But as long as clients are making money, that's really all that matters to me. I will say I'm a little peeved, man, Andrew, because I had a bet graded as a win, and I thought it was a win, and which was the show best bet, which was Nikita Kucherov over 3.5 shots on goal. He scores the goal that sends it to overtime, which was his 4th shot on goal, and then Tampa wins it in overtime. And 2 of my books graded it as a win. I checked NHL.com, and they showed us 4 shots on goal with Nikita Kucherov, and then a couple of hours later, the money's missing. I'm like, oh God, they regraded this. And I go back and look, and they changed the goal to whoever was in front of the net. I can't remember whose name. I think it was Haig or something, who must have deflected it. And so they changed it to someone else scoring the game-winning goal, taking that shot off the board. So he sits at 3 instead of 3.5. It's the old God giveth, God taketh away. And he took it away. So I wasn't happy about that one, but I will call that a bad beat. So deflection on the goal there. So what can you do?
Well, I mean, Carm, 80%, that's just unbelievable. I mean, you've had a good run with your sides, totals, but also those prop plays you've given out on the show. They've been awesome. Overall, how many times have you ever had a play get stat corrected in your favor? I feel like the stat corrections always go against us. You know what I mean? Like whether it's a shot on goal, whether it's a goal that was deflected. I feel like I don't think I remember one time where I've gotten a goal scoring prop or a shot on goal prop cashed where I didn't think it was going to hit. It's always the play I thought that hit that ended up going down on me like that. And that's just the way it works out, unfortunately. But hey, you're on a really, really good run. And I'm trying to get on a pretty good run myself. And once again, just the two of us for today, but we'll have a jam-packed show on Friday to make up for that with Kevin Dolan and Don Buster on the show. Today's games breaking down here with the Lightning, Bruins, Hurricanes, Penguins, Avalanche, Jets, and the nightcap with the Kraken and Kings. Let's start things off with the Lightning and the Bruins here. Obviously, as Carm mentioned, the Lightning playing last night in a pretty competitive back-and-forth game there. They're plus 145 tonight. Boston minus 170 at home. And obviously, yesterday, based on the results, a lot of people know that Vasilevsky was saved for this game here, Carm, in Boston. We had Brian Elliott yesterday. And no offense to Brian Elliott, but it seems to be the games are a little bit more high-scoring when he's in net. And Vasilevsky now, he'll get a chance to try and take on the Boston Bruins. The Bruins, like I said, minus 170. I mean, the team has been playing so well. Even when they get their streak snapped, they go right back on another one. But one thing about this team, not just how they're playing overall, Carm, but how they're playing on home ice. It's incredible. I don't always try and point out these home away splits, but for this Bruins team, I think they broke an NHL record for how many wins in a row or early in the season, I guess, at home. So what are your thoughts here on this matchup? And do you think that it's appropriate to take a look at this Bruins team at this price simply based on, hey, they're running hot at home right now?
Yeah, they're running really hot at home. They're running really hot overall. This team just doesn't seem like kind of like the New Jersey Devils and the banana in the tailpipe that I fell into yesterday with the New York Rangers selection on the show. But they're just not losing games. At some point it's going to calm down with these teams. But again, it's kind of the catching the falling knife. You don't want to do this. These teams played in Tampa just a little over 8 days ago, with the Bruins going in there and beating them 5-3. I'm looking at goals just because these teams continue to score, and even though the Bruins are winning, they will allow goals. You look at some of their games: 5-3, 5-2. 3-2. So they're playing well defensively, but they are scoring goals. This isn't a Bruins team like the Bruins team of last season under Cassidy. This is it's surprising. Like I'll be honest with you, I'm shocked because I didn't expect the Bruins to have this good a season. I thought they'd take a step back this year, and I was completely wrong on that one. Wrong read by me. We're only 20 games into the season, but this team just is playing phenomenal. And if they don't run into any type of injury problems, they're going to be right up there. And they are the books have adjusted them. They are a cup contender. As far as this, I'm going to go with the over, even though it's Vasilevsky in goal tonight. You saw it yesterday with Tampa Bay. I had the over in that Tampa Bay and Buffalo game. I thought, I'm not going to say 6.5. It was never going to be a 7, but I thought 6.5 was a gift. I should have probably rated it a lot higher. And I feel the same way about this one. I think we're going to see some goals, even with Vasilevsky in net. The Tampa's on the tail end of a back-to-back, but they are still winning games and they're scoring goals. Andrew, they're scoring goals. A 5-2 over St. Louis, 6-5 over the Sabres yesterday, 4-1 over Calgary, 3-2 even over Nashville, a team that doesn't allow a lot of goals. They are scoring goals. They'll get some against the Bruins. They'll get theirs. The Bruins will get theirs. I'm not going to take a side here, even though I think the Bruins is probably the right side here. But at 6, I like the over. So it's over 6 for me.
All right, over 6 there for Carmine. And for me, I'm going to go ahead and although I mentioned how hot the Bruins have been at home, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the Lightning team total over 2.5 goals at a price of minus 135. Not asking them to win the game. Just get me 3 goals. I'll be happy with them. I think the Bruins, although they've been great at home, they have recently at home at least been playing a little bit of a lower tier competition, I guess I'll phrase it like that. And Tampa Bay, just like Carm just mentioned, they had an up and down start to their season. But you look at their last, I think it's 6 or 7 games, just one loss mixed in there, and that was to the aforementioned Bruins. So I feel like they will get at least 3 goals tonight. I think at minus 135 for a team total for the Lightning is a pretty good price to pay here for that one. So look at team total for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Carm looking towards the over here. Game number 2 for us, Carolina Hurricanes, Pittsburgh Penguins. 2 teams that have been very solid in the Eastern Conference for several years now. Carolina is certainly trying to take that next jump this year, though. They're plus 100. Pittsburgh minus 120 here. Total at 6. And, you take a look at this Pittsburgh team. I think, honestly, very similar thoughts I have as far as Pittsburgh as I do with Carolina here, Carm, is that, we always talk about how NHL is a league of runs. We've seen countless teams get on losing streaks, winning streaks, over streaks, under streaks. For both these clubs, it's been a little bit of everything. I mean, we have seen a little bit of streaks. Pittsburgh was just on one, but they played Chicago and Philadelphia and stuff. But Carolina, they just haven't really been the team that I thought they were going to be so far. I think a lot of that has to do with their defensive play. They haven't really been able to keep the puck out of their own net, but also their depth at scoring, which I always thought was one of their strongest points, has not been there for them. So, until that really starts to clear up, I think I have to fade them against solid opponents, especially when they're on the road. So my lean for this game would be Pittsburgh. I don't have as strong of an opinion as some of the other games here on the slate, but Carolina is they're not playing as a team right now. They're not really impressing me, and I get it. They're a lot better of a team at home, and this could be a spot where we could be kind of a down spot and stuff like that. And they've really been having some tough times, but I just think that this is a spot for Pittsburgh to show up, play well defensively in front of their home crowd, and get the job done. So I'm fading Carolina tonight, Carm. They're just not really impressing me right now. What do you think?
All right. It took officially 12 minutes for you and I to go mano a mano on a game, and this is the one, Andrew.
All right.
I'm going Carolina here. I like Carolina at even money here. Listen, the Leafs, that game against Pittsburgh, I get it. It's one game that they lost, after putting together a decent-sized win streak. But the Leafs are making a lot of teams look slow. They're just playing really well right now. But the Penguins never looked like they were in that game against the Leafs. And I look at some of the games that they've won recently, and they beat the Flyers, a struggling Calgary team that went to overtime. The Chicago Blackhawks, the Winnipeg Jets. I get it. We always say you can only play who's in front of you, but then you look at Carolina, and they broke their win streak or the losing streak against Calgary, but they looked good in that game. They outshot Calgary 33-20. They played well. 3-2 doesn't do justice to how much better they were in that game than the Calgary Flames. But you look at that 5-game losing streak that they had. 4 of them they lost in overtime, which tells you the team is competing. Colorado Avalanche, Minnesota, Winnipeg, the Boston Bruins, and Arizona mixed in there as well too. That's the only game that didn't go to overtime when they threw in an absolute clunker, losing 4-0. This is a good team that hasn't put it all together yet, which is why they're losing games in overtime. But I think we can maybe look at this Calgary game as one that is like the turning point for this team where they're going to start winning some games. And what better way to do it than go back on the road into Pittsburgh and beat the Penguins? And I'm going to take the plus money here with this team. I think Carolina is a better team than Pittsburgh, a better lineup, a better structure to their team, and a team that's going to finish with more points at the end of the season than the Pittsburgh Penguins are. And I'm getting them now. I'm going to jump on the Carolina train moving forward, and I'm going to take the even money here.
I see. Look, you know what? My mic was muted, and I was talking smack to Carm. See, that's karma for me right there for forgetting to unmute myself. I was going to say to Carm, hey, look, I think that Carolina is going to finish with more points. I think they're the better team as well. I just don't think they're the better team right now. So if this game was played 4 months from now, I would be on Carolina. I'm a little bit worried about their depth. And hey, Carm, as a Montreal Canadiens fan, remember the deal with Jesperi Kotkaniemi when they offer sheeted them from the Montreal Canadiens, signed that horrible deal last year, and then this year they signed him, I think, to like 5 years for $4.25 million. The guy has like a goal in 15 games. That's been pretty rough for them. So I don't know. It seems like they're very top heavy with their goal scoring, but I'm curious because I'm sure hopefully we can find some type of edge together. Do you like the under in this game? Can we agree on a total, or you like the over?
No, I would probably lean to the under. I'm going to go with I'll throw one out there. Let me see here. I'm going to go with the Magic 3-1 Carolina final. How's that?
Ooh,
possibly 3-2.
Okay. Okay.
There you go.
I bet you we could make a bet on our sports books for 3-2 either team, and I think we cash that ticket. 3-2 either team wins, and we probably get a pretty good price on that. We can bet both of them and make some money. That's what I'm thinking. 3-2 either team.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now what the line is on one of these teams winning 3-2. Give me 1 second as I pop it up. Either team winning 3-2, plus 100 or plus 1,000 on Carolina, 10-1, plus 900 on Pittsburgh, or 9-1. My 3-1 final for Carolina is plus 1,800, 8-1. That'll buy you a lot of pizza, Andrew.
That'll buy
one
you
bite,
nice
everyone
pizza.
knows the rules. The one bite, the one bite everyone knows the rules is the worst thing, because you give me a large pizza, I am eating the whole thing. There is no one bite. This is one pizza.
That's the whole
Stay
joke,
away.
though.
Everyone knows the rules.
That's the whole joke, though. He says that he eats the whole pizza. It's like one bite. Everybody knows the rules that he eats the pizza in like 1 minute. Oh, those are hilarious. All right, let's keep it going here with the Avalanche and Winnipeg Jets. Like we talked about with this Winnipeg team, Carm, look, this is the team that I've always had a rough read on. I haven't really been able to make money on them. I feel like whenever I go on them, they embarrass themselves. Whenever I fade them, they have the game of their lives. I have to learn how to bet this team, but now we're getting them as an underdog here. I have to ask you this question. I mean, based on the play that we're seeing from Winnipeg this year, they have played better. They've overpassed my expectations 100%. But even with a couple injuries and stuff for Colorado, don't you think this price is a little bit cheap here? I mean, this seems like a reasonable price for two teams that I just still think are in different classes. Do you agree with me on that?
I definitely do. You know what I mean? We've talked about on previous shows, and I like to always sort of backtrack on them if I'm right, and I backtrack on them if I'm wrong. And I was right about this Colorado one. I said that this team will be fine. They will get into gear, whether you wanted to call it the Stanley Cup hangover, and the fact that they are still missing a couple players as well, too, Landeskog being the most important one. But this team is grinding out wins. They're playing well. Their goalies are playing well. And you look at them, their last 10 games, they've lost twice. They've lost to the St. Louis Blues, which came after the Blues broke that long losing streak of theirs, and then went on a 7 or 8 game winning streak. And they lost the unlikely one, lost at home to the Vancouver Canucks 4-3, but they bounced right back, beating the Dallas Stars. I just think this is a good price here. You have Winnipeg coming home. It's only a three game road streak, but they dropped the first one in Minnesota. They got a very good scheduling spot against Dallas when I took Winnipeg in that one. And then they beat the Chicago Blackhawks. They literally annihilated the Hawks, who have now gone into full tank mode, I think, along with Philadelphia for that Connor pick in the draft for next year. But it's just a step up for Winnipeg here playing this Colorado team. And I'm getting such a short price on it. I don't think it's a fishy line. I think it's probably the right line, because Winnipeg does play well at home, but I'm not going to jump in front of this Colorado train right now. So I'm going to take the money on I'll lay the short price on the Avalanche and take them.
I'm right there with you. I think this has to be a good spot here to jump in on Colorado, and they did play very well in their last game. They're also very well rested. Carm, due to that the leak that I talked about that was in Nashville, or I guess last week you brought it up, and I made the mistake thinking it was in Colorado. It was in Nashville.
I thought so too.
So they traveled there for no reason, which is kind of funny. So they traveled there for no reason. Then they played Dallas after that. But they're very well rested. I think they've only played 2 games. It's since last Wednesday. So I always say, for people out there watching, for me, teams that are really good, I say that the rest does not equal rust. If you're like a bottom tier team, I don't think a lot of rest is really a good thing. You got to be playing games. But if you're Colorado, if you're rested, that just helps your speed. That just helps your precision, helps you execute more, I think. It gives the goalie lots of rest. I mean, how good has Alexander Georgiev been this year? He's been outstanding. Darcy Kemper, a guy that moves over in Washington, they pick up Georgiev, and he's pretty much filled right in, almost done better as far as goaltending goes. And similar to really what I've said about the Maple Leafs this year, Colorado has turned into more of an under team. And if they're going over, it's mostly because they're the ones doing the scoring, right? And it's unbelievable to look at how many goals they're really giving up. You take a look at their last 10 games, only allowing more than 3 goals one time over that entire span. And that was a loss to Vancouver. So A team that's definitely playing very well defensively and holding things down, but at this short price, I'm not falling for the Winnipeg at home here. I'm going to take Colorado on the road on the money line at a really good price. Last game here before best bets, before we jump into
Hold on, Andrew. Before we jump into, because we have a little bit of time and stuff. Yeah, I did say, and I think because I had tweeted out, or I think I had said something along the lines of the Colorado Nashville game is postponed because of a water main break in Colorado, but it was actually in Nashville, and that's why I think the Nashville Columbus game was postponed on Saturday as well. But hey, listen, Colorado got a day off in Nashville. It's a great town. You go to like what's it called, Music City. I've never been to Nashville, but I hear like if it's like Las Vegas if you're Ned Flanders. So it's a fantastic place to visit. But with that said, we have one more. What? Ned Flanders.
You just don't like country music. Do you like country, Carm? I want to go to Nashville really bad. I love country.
I like the new country more so than the old country. But but I think we had this discussion years ago on Puck Time with the Prez, who said that country music was the absolute worst. But this is a guy who followed around, who's a deadhead for like a year following the same group around, listening to the same songs. I don't get it. But when you have Prez's money, I guess you can do pretty much anything you want.
Yeah, but he can't get an Uber to pick him up at the airport. Remember that. We had to hear about the drive situation on Wager Talk today. Probably 4 or 5 more times than we wanted to hear about it. The last game we're breaking down, the Kraken and the Kings. And I'll put it this way here, guys. The Kings were my buy team yesterday for a reason. I put that team on there because I plan on betting them. I got to put my money where my mouth is. Ed Carm, I'm stepping in front of this Seattle team, brother. Minus 130, the LA Kings. They have great statistical numbers. They're playing well recently. They're competing against a lot of the teams they play against, a lot of 1 to 2 goal games that they've been involved in. And you take a look at this Seattle team, I'm sorry, but putting up a bunch of goals on San Jose doesn't impress me. Winning a 1-goal game against Anaheim does not impress me. I know they did take down New York. They did take down LA the last time they played. They did beat a Vegas Golden Knights team. I understand that. But to me, this is a quick revenge spot. This is a next week spot here. Now it's at home for LA, a reasonable price. And I get it. We don't want to catch the falling knives. We've talked about this, but it's not really catching a fallen knife. It's more so just getting caught and stepping in front of a streak. I don't think Seattle is as good as they're playing right now. I feel like they have made a really good step in the right direction, but I think LA is the play here at home. I think they have a great crew. They're going to play well defensively and win this one in a low-scoring battle. Give me the Kings tonight, Carm. Got to put my money where my mouth is here. If I'm going to bet on them in my buy and sell segment, I have to start taking them as well. The very first chance I possibly can. So the Kings for me, Carm. What do you think?
Andrew with the Kings. Look at you, man. And you said quick revenge. I think that was a pun, an intended pun, because quick is in net for LA. Andrew, I'm sorry, man. Clash of the Titans. That movie. That's where the phrase came. Release the Kraken. Dude, this team is 11-4 their last 15, 10-2 their last 12 games. This team, you know what the toughest thing is? Even if you don't think a team has a lot of talent up and down their lineup, when a team is winning, they are having fun. They go on the ice, and sometimes they put in these Herculean performances, and they win games. That's what the Kraken are doing. I get it. The Anaheim Ducks, the San Jose, but they beat the Kings. They beat the Rangers. They beat the Vegas Golden Knights in Vegas. This team is winning games, so I'm not going to jump in front of them. I'm going to go with Seattle in this one. You and I are going to go mano a mano on another one. I just love the way this Kraken team is playing right now, and I watched their game against Anaheim, and yeah, it was only a 5-4 win. I get it, but they got the W, and that's pretty much all that really matters for them. They have taken a step up from last season, of course, and are playing just some great hockey right now. How long does it last? I don't know. At some point, you have to figure regression sets in with this team. But until it does, I can't go against them, even against a very good LA team who probably hasn't put it all together yet. So with that said, I'm going Kraken here. Let's get Kraken.
I don't like it, Carm. I don't like it. You're on a really good run, and we're head to head. We're trying to grow. We're trying to grow here. We're trying to make, cash some tickets, and 4 games on the board that we discussed, and we're head to head on 2 of them. Let's just wrap this up here. Let's wrap this up. There's lots of games on the slate. We couldn't have picked more. We agreed on. No, in all seriousness, it's fine for us to disagree. It makes for good entertainment, and I think it's cool because for all of you guys out there that don't know this, hopefully you do. We don't discuss any of our predictions beforehand. I have no idea what Carm's going to say. He has no idea what I'm going to say. And I think it makes it more natural, makes it more fun, and we have different opinions on some games, and sometimes we're on the same page completely, and that's just the way she goes. So, Carm, what's going on for you today at Wager Talk? Obviously, it's a good slate here on hockey. You've got World Cup action, of course, and of course, your best bet for today.
All right. Yeah, let's get going on this one. A couple plays up in NHL for tonight. We're going to try and keep this run going. You guys know that there is the NHL $3.99 where you can get $200 off the rest of the NHL season. That's up. Also, the past 30 that you can get either Andrew or I's 30-day all access, $100 off. That drops it down to $199. So that's a very good deal as well, too. As far as my best bet, I'm going to the game that we mentioned earlier, the Carolina Hurricane. I am jumping on this Hurricane train now. You're getting them at even money tonight. And I just didn't like what I saw from Pittsburgh in that last game against the Leafs. And maybe it has more to do with how the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing right now, and they're playing extremely well, that they made Pittsburgh look bad. But this is another team that plays very well defensively in Carolina. They don't take a shift off. And those are the teams that are very difficult to play against. So I'm going to take the even money on Carolina as your show best bet. And let's try and get this one.
I'd love to say I love it, but I did disagree with you. So I wish you the best of luck, respectively, Carm, on that pick. Guys, Brian Leonard, he's on this show every week with us. He does an outstanding job. He has a great track record with NHL over the past several years. You can use the coupon code Brian10 to get $10 off Brian's 5% play. He is on a 17-6 overall run, 8-1 in the NHL. He's done very well, guys. So go to wagertalk.com, grab Brian's 5% play. And while you're over there, I also have a play. 5% play. So you can grab that as well. I have the exact same promo code as Brian, Andrew10. Well, not the exact one, but Andrew10 for me. You can use Andrew10 to get $10 off my 5% play as well. Short term 4-0 run, longer term 14-6 run, and doing really well with these 5% plays. So grab that if you're interested. It is a game today in the NHL that I have up. And my best bet, we're going with the LA Kings. I talked about it in the buy and sell segment. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. We're taking the Kings on the money line here over the Kraken at home. Good spot here. Rapid revenge after losing to the same team last week. Quick little recap here. Carm with Carolina plus 100. And I have the LA Kings minus 130 over the Kraken. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow right here on Wager Talk TV.
Known as $2 Tuesdays at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.